Otherwise, just kind of coming to your mat in a comfortable place here. Kind of grounding down through the sitting bones. And then just bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees fall out to the side. So just kind of being aware that you may not have props like blocks or towels or those types of things, but if you do have them, you could go ahead and take a rolled towel and put it underneath your thigh for a little bit of support, or use a block or another handy object that you might have nearby. So if bound angle is not comfortable for you, you can just take regular cross-legged pose or easy pose. So knees are gonna fall out to the side, and give yourself a little bit of flexibility here to either allow the heels to float out or kind of to pull them back, whatever feels good for you. And then take a deep breath in to find some length in your spine, and just let your hands relax comfortably onto your lap. Once again, breathing deeply through the nose, rooting down through the pelvis, lifting the top of the head up. On an exhale, think about releasing tension out of your face and out of your jaw. And then either lowering the gaze or blinking your eyes closed, allow yourself to come to your mat this afternoon. Observe your breathing. Scan your body, noticing any areas of tension or discomfort today. And really just keeping in mind, being mindful of those areas as you complete your practice. So we're not ignoring our bodies, we're not keying in or overly focusing on areas of discomfort, but we just want to be mindful of them as we practice today. And then allow yourself to breathe a little bit deeper. Start breathing through the nose as you inhale, and exhaling through the mouth. And let both sides of the breath be a little bit longer. As you inhale, think about drawing in that sense of peace and stillness to your body. As you exhale, really thinking about letting go anything that is not serving you well today. Inhaling, bringing in space and peace to your body. Exhaling any worry or discomfort. And then if you haven't already, I want you to start to shift the breath low to the belly. So when you do that, you're not pushing out your belly, but thinking about allowing your belly to expand as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, just subtly drawing the navel into the spine. So when we do that and allow the belly to relax and fill with air, we're really allowing that air exchange to occur way down in the lowest part of our lungs. If it helps you, you can place one or both hands over the belly just for a little bit of a tactile cue. Inhaling, allow the belly to expand out, and exhale to draw the navel into the spine. So we're going to do several more cycles of that belly breath. I want you to try to inhale and exhale anywhere from 3 to 5 counts. And then either match the length of your exhale with your inhale, or exhale slightly longer. And if you practice the yogic breath or that ujjayi breath where you're creating that slight constriction in the back of the throat, you can start to do that now if you haven't already. Really allowing yourself to focus on the sensations that you feel as you breathe a little bit deeper. And if your mind starts to wander, I want you to gently guide it back to your breath. Really using the breath as your guide as you practice. And also permitting yourself to use this belly breathing into times when you're off of your mat as well. So if you're feeling stressed or if you're noticing anxiety or worry about something, maybe just take a pause. Take 20 seconds or 10 seconds or just a few breath cycles to just breathe into the belly. So continuing for a few more breaths, I want you to set an intention or a dedication for your practice today, something that you want to focus on. Maybe it's self-love, self-care. Maybe there's someone in your life that really needs some positivity right now. Think about bringing that person into your heart, directing the breath towards them. And then we'll take a couple of cleansing breaths. So inhaling through the nose, exhale, open mouth. One more time, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And then you can start to blink your eyes open. We'll inhale again, reach the arms up over your head. As you exhale, go ahead and let your right arm fall to the side. Reach your left arm up and over. So a little side body stretch here. Modify your leg position if you want. Big sweep with the arm, bring the trunk back up to center and exhale to release it down. Second side, inhale, big reach up and over, side stretch to the left. Think about elongating that side body. Good, inhale, come back to center, exhale, lower. Good, one more time each side, inhale, reach up, exhale, over, side stretch. And think about maybe even circling out that wrist or extending through your fingers a little bit more. Inhale, big sweep, come back to center, exhale, lower down. Second side, reaches up and over, big side stretch, grounding down through the sitting bones. Do whatever movements feel good to you here. So looking up and down or moving the wrist. Just kind of checking in with your body today. Inhale, big sweep, come back to center, and exhale, release down. Go ahead and press your palms towards me this time. Separate the shoulder blades, create a little bit of a tailbone tuck. So allow the breath to flow to that mid-back. Good, inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Sit nice and tall. As you exhale, release the hands down, interlace them. Thumbs or fingers draw down and back. So you're right on top of the sacrum, opening up the chest and shoulders, breathing in. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, you may forward fold. You may not, just depends on where you're at here. If you do explore a fold, let those arms float off your sacrum. And then as you inhale, bring your trunk back up to center. This time, lift your chin. Good, use your exhale to release. Go ahead and assist your knees back towards the ceiling here. And then extend the legs all the way out. So you may be on a block or a rolled towel, you might not be. We're gonna come into staff pose here. So I want you to give a little press into your hands. If you can place the palms underneath your shoulders, great. Otherwise, you might tent the fingers. Take a nice deep breath in and think about pressing into the hands, lifting the chest up. And breathe. As you exhale, I want you to take your right leg, bring it to the opposite hip crease. So half lotus pose here. If this is not available to you, you're gonna go to the inner thigh on that leg. So half lotus pose, breathe in, chest is lifted. As you exhale, explore hinging forward. You can rotate the ankle of your straight leg, add a little bit of movement here if that feels good. Starting to direct some breath to the legs. Good, inhale, bring your trunk up to center. As you exhale, that leg that's crossed is gonna step over the straight leg. Sit up nice and tall. With your left hand, wrap it around the knee and start to turn and twist to the back right corner. So you should start to feel a little bit of a stretch into the outer hip and glute on your bent leg. Beautiful. Kind of pulling that knee to the opposite shoulder, continuing to breathe. On an exhale, come back to center. Go ahead and straighten out that bent leg. Take a nice deep breath in. This time your left leg is going to come to your right hip crease, so on the second side. Try to let that knee relax out to the side. Take a breath in. On an exhale, start to lead with your heart. Hinge forward. So you're working on head to knee here. You're just moving in that direction. So you don't have to get your head down to your knee, but you're moving towards that. Try to relax the bent leg, that hip, allowing a little bit of opening there. On an inhale, draw your trunk back up. As you exhale, that bent leg is going to step and cross, so sole of the foot to the mat. Sit up nice and tall here with your right leg. Wrap it around that knee. Start to twist to the back left corner. Being mindful to keep your trunk nice and long here. So imagine the crown of your head lifting up. As you twist, you're opening that left side of your chest more, twisting from your low belly. One more breath in. As you exhale, come back to center. Uncross the legs. Go ahead and make your way over to hands and knees now. So you're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Maybe walk the hands just an inch or two closer to your knees today. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the tail. Come to cow pose. As you exhale, press away. Round your spine. Nice big C shape. Cat. Inhale, drop the belly, look forward. Cow. Exhale. Tuck and round. Press away from the mat as much as you can. I want you to flow with your breath here. Inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat, maybe shifting your hips side to side. Just start to open into the side body. If you want to take some big hip circles or circle out your whole body on the mat, feel free to do that. We'll do a couple more rounds just like this. Toes can be flat, tops of the feet can be flatter. If you want, you can tuck the toes under for a couple of cycles here of cat and cow. Just moving with your breath. If you do have the toes tucked under, go ahead and flatten them out. On your next inhale, come to cow. As you exhale, press to cat and then hover your knees for super cat. So you're pressing into the tops of the feet, lifting your knees and your lower legs off the mat just briefly. Then inhale, drop the belly. Come back, cow pose. Exhale, press through cat, hover those knees, press into the tops of the feet. So big C shape through the spine. Release, inhale, cow pose. Starting to activate that midsection. Exhale, press to cat, then hover the knees if you want. Lifting, rounding. Last time, inhale, cow, look forward. Exhale, cat. Press into the feet, hover those knees, super cat. Good, release the knees down. Come back to a neutral spine here. We're gonna walk our hands off the mat to the right. So instead of going to the right corner, we're gonna walk them all the way off the mat to the right, kind of creating a C shape in the spine. And then on your exhale, you're gonna drop your hips exactly away from your hands. So you're really rounding out, creating that nice openness through the left side of your trunk. Beautiful. Keep breathing here. Coming back to center with the hips. Walk your hands onto the mat and then over to the second side. So moving off your mat to the left, breathing in. On an exhale, sink your hips directly away from your hands. Right side body stretch. Continuing to breathe here, coming back to center, bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, and then actually let's go ahead and walk the hands a little bit more forward. We're going to come down to our forearms today, tuck the toes under, and press back to dolphin pose. So remember, dolphin pose is that triangle shape with your body, but but down on your forearm. So very similar to down dog. You can find a little bit of movement with the heels, kind of pressing the heels down to the mat. Finding some length into the back of the legs, maybe shaking out the head. Release tension in the back of the neck here. As you inhale, I want you to shimmy your feet back slightly. Come to forearm plank. So your shoulders are going to be over your elbows. Give a nice press through that mid back so you flatten out the space there. You might let your knees drop to the mat, but you're still going to pull your belly in. If you want to make this harder, more challenging, you're going to try floating your one foot. So float your right foot a couple inches off the mat, still pressing into that left leg. Good, release, come back to forearm plank, still pulling your belly in. Try floating the second side. Belly draws in. Good, release that foot, forearm plank. And then walk the feet in dolphin pose. Hips are high. Lots of breath here. Always welcome to come to any resting pose of your choice. So keeping that in mind throughout the practice, yogis. And then shimmy the feet back. Come to forearm plank again. Press into that mid back. And then we're going to come over to our right forearm for side arm balance. So you might stagger or stack your feet here. You might drop that bottom knee down, and that's perfectly fine. So if you're on straight knees, we'll keep it there, staggering the feet. 2 more breaths here, floating that left side of your pelvis up. Then I want everybody to let their bottom knee come down to the mat. So right knee is down, left leg is straight out here. Outer edge of your foot is down. And I want you to think about floating that top leg up and slightly back. So you're activating the left glute. Reach those left fingertips nice and high. Breathe. On an exhale, release back to center. Come to puppy pose. So hips are high, forehead to stacked hands here or to your mat. Just reconnecting with your breath. We're going to do that same thing on the second side here. So when you're ready, we're going to press back up to dolphin pose. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips nice and high. And then come to forearm plank. So your feet are going to slide back slightly, shoulders over your elbows, belly draws in. Go ahead and come over to your left forearm. So be mindful of shoulder over elbow alignment here. Right side of the pelvis lifts up. Bottom knee can be down, or you can be on straight legs here, staggered feet, whatever works best for you, focusing on that side body strength. Good, let's drop the bottom knee down. Keep your right leg extended, and on an inhale, float your right leg up and slightly back. So activating that right glute, gaze is up or down, whatever feels best on your neck. Beautiful, yogis. Continuing to breathe. As you exhale, come back to center. Come up to tabletop and then press into your hands, tuck the toes under, and find downward facing dog. Just checking your spacing on the mat here. Maybe finding a little bit of movement in down dog. So raising and lowering the heels might feel good. Dropping the knees into center. It's really connecting with yourself in down dog. Good. From down dog, look forward towards your hands. Take a walk up to the top of your mat. Let's find garland pose or malasana. So your toes are going to go out about 45 degrees. You're going to sink low. Elbows to the inner thighs, press them out, look forward. So if this is not available to you, you can come up higher to a little bit more of a modified squat position, or if you have a block, you can sit on it. Chest is lifted, tailbone tucks to the floor, breathe in. As you exhale, draw the navel to the spine. If you want an additional challenge here, we're gonna inhale and float the heels, raising up to the balls of the feet. So find a little focal point to keep your gaze. Continuing to breathe as you draw the belly in. Good, as you exhale, release the heels. Lengthen the spine, inhale, float. Exhale, lower. Good, stay in garland pose here. We're gonna plant our left fingertips in the center. Inhale the right arm back, nice easy twist. Keep your chest lifted. Exhaling, come back to center, right hand plants. Take a breath in. Exhale, open up the left side now. Make sure you're looking at the hand with your eyes here. Making that whole spine rotate. Come back to center, release. Go ahead and start to toe heel your feet in so they're about hips distance apart. Take a forward fold, nice and generous here. Allowing the knees to bend, letting the upper body hang. Finding a little bit of sway here. Bending the knees as much as you need to. Good. Go ahead and place your hands just above your kneecaps. Inhale to standing cow pose. So heart is lifted, gaze is forward. Exhale, press to standing cat, tuck. Inhale, standing cow, look forward, heart lifts. This time as you exhale, press through cat and then allow yourself to come all the way up to standing, taking a few shoulder rolls as you get to the top of your mat, maybe pedaling out the feet a little bit. And then come to mountain pose with your feet hips distance apart, palms forward, belly in. Open your heart here. On an inhale, reach your arms all the way up, look up. As you exhale, open the chest. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Lead with your heart. Inhale, flat back. Halfway lift. Pull your belly in. Exhale, round and fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. Look up. Exhale, open your chest. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. Look up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Inhale, reaching your arms up. Take a little back bend here if you want. Exhale, lead with your heart. Forward fold. We're going to move on to sun salutation A. Inhale, flat back. Halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back to plank pose. Take 2 breaths here. Press into that mid back. Decide for your vinyasa series if you'd like to take it from your toes or your knees. We'll lower halfway to low push-up chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Heart lifts. Exhale. Press back, downward facing dog. Hips high, spread your fingers nice and wide. Ground through your hands and feet. Look forward, walk or step to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Little back bend. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, flat back. Halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back to plank, 2 breaths. Activating that trunk, pull the belly in. From your toes or your knees, lower halfway, chaturanga, low push-up. Inhale, back bend of your choice, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, you're always welcome to take any resting pose of your choice. Look forward, walk, step, or hop to the top of your mat. Breathe in, flat back, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back to plank. Vinyasa or downward facing dog. Lower halfway chaturanga, low push up. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, collect your breath here. Inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog. If you want to let that hip open a little bit, dropping the heel to the opposite buttock, or just finding some movement in your right leg, feel free to do that. And then eventually squaring your hips, really reaching into that right ball of your foot, reaching it high to the ceiling. Exhale, step it forward, come to low lunge. Keep your hands framing that front foot, drop your back knee down here. Take a breath in. As you exhale, I want you to shift back to splits prep. So this is where blocks are helpful if you have them, but you can also just rest your hands on your legs. So a little hamstring opener here. As you inhale, I want you to shift back forward, frame that front foot. So low lunge variation. Let the front of that left hip drop down. Exhale, shift back, splits prep. So we're just gonna toggle back and forth a little bit here. You get into your own body with sort of what feels good. You're working on opening that left hip flexor as you come forward, and as you shift back, you're working on opening the right hamstring. So depending on what other activities or exercise you like to do, you might be more restricted on one of those. So just take a few repetitions back and forth. Low lunge, splits prep. As you're exploring those, try to keep your chest lifted when you come into splits prep and low lunge. Continuing to breathe, maybe finishing the cycle that you're on. And then we'll meet back in low lunge. From low lunge, walk or sweep your arms up, tuck your tailbone under, settle into that front knee, look up. As you exhale, take a wide arm twist to the right. Spread your fingers nice and wide here. Breathe. Inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, take your hands down to frame your foot again. This time, tuck the back toes under and come up to runner's lunge. So runner's lunge, your belly is in, your back leg is very strong. You're pressing through that heel. Chest is lifted. I want you to bend and straighten the back knee a couple times. So you're gonna barely tap the knee to the mat and then straighten it. Keep your belly in. Do that 2 more times. So drop the back knee and pick it up. Nice, strong through the core, and pick it up and hold. Good, from here, left hand is gonna plant. Inhale your right arm up, twisting. Good, then reach it to the back wall. Open that hand nice and wide. Breathe. Good, inhale, reach the arm up to the ceiling. As you exhale, plant that right hand. You're gonna pivot your back heel down. Inhale to triangle pose. So from triangle pose, you might modify where that right hand is. So you might need to use your leg. You want that entire front body open to the left. This is a good place for a block if you have one. If you don't, just use your leg, but don't collapse onto it. Good, as you exhale, release back, runner's lunge. Look forward. Reaching through the heel of that left leg, chest is lifted. Good, triangle pose. So pivot the back heel down, inhale your left arm up. Good, one more time, runner's lunge. Back knee is lifted, look forward, chest lifts. Exhale, pivot your back heel down, triangle. Good, and then open up reverse triangle. So you're gonna allow that back arm to fall to your back leg, open up that right side body. Good, as you exhale, windmill your hands down to the mat, step back to plank pose. Vinyasa or downward facing dog. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, down dog. Good, couple of breaths here in down dog. Really think about the pelvis lifting up and back, allowing your knees to work towards straight. Your heels to work towards the ground here. Feeling some length through the spine, the back of the legs, the shoulders. When you're ready, inhale, left leg high, reach through that foot. Play with opening your hip a little bit here, so dropping it towards the opposite buttock, turning and looking, or just moving your knee or ankle, whatever feels good. Then inhale, reaching that left leg all the way up to the ceiling, squaring your hips to the mat. As you exhale, big step forward, low lunge. So hands are framing that front foot, back knee is down. As you exhale, shift back, splits prep. So pulling the toes back on the left foot, belly is in, heart lifts. Shift it back forward, low lunge. Kind of allowing the front of that right hip to drop down. Exhale, shift back, splits prep. So here's where we're gonna just alternate. Low lunge, framing that front foot, opening up that right hip flexor. And then shifting back, opening up that left hamstring. So feel free to add some movement here. If you need to rotate your leg or point and flex your foot. Just gonna go back and forth a few times. Continuing to breathe, maybe noticing some differences between sides here. Maybe taking it through 1 or 2 more times at your own pace. Spending time where you need to. Good, and then we'll come back to low lunge. Walk or sweep your arms up. Tuck the tailbone under and press the front of the right hip forward. On an exhale, take those wide arm twists to the left. Continuing to breathe here. Good, as you inhale, bring the arms back up to center. As you exhale, go ahead and take your hands down. Tuck your back toes under and come up to runner's lunge here. Planting the right hand, back knee is straight. Inhale your left arm to the ceiling. And then if you want, reach it to the back wall. So reaching back towards your back foot. Chest is open, belly is in. Inhale, lift that left arm back up to the sky. And then exhale, release it. So hands are framing that front foot again. Go ahead and bend and straighten the back knee a few times here. So you're gonna drop the back knee down and then straighten it. Knee crease to the ceiling. Do that one more time. Drop and knee crease straight to the ceiling. Pull the belly in here. From this runner's lunge position, pivot your back heel down. Inhale, triangle pose. Reach your right arm high. So just being mindful to keep your front body open to that right wall. As you exhale, release back, runner's lunge. Look forward, pull your belly in. Back knee is straight. Good, do it again. Inhale, lift up, triangle pose. Micro bend in those knees. Opening that back foot. Exhale, release, runner's lunge. Look forward. Good, last time here, inhale, triangle. Pivot your back heel down. And exhale, reverse triangle. Opening the left side body. Good, as you exhale, windmill your hands down to the mat. Step it back to plank pose, vinyasa, or downward facing dog. So if you're getting tired, you can skip that vinyasa series and press back to down dog or child's pose. As you press back into down dog, go ahead and walk your feet out a little bit wider and just alternate, adding a little bit of movement to the knees, alternating, pressing the heels down to the mat. Notice how your legs feel from side to side here. And then eventually bringing your feet back in so they're hips distance apart. So we're gonna set up for pigeon pose. If pigeon is not in your practice and you would prefer to do reclining pigeon, you can do that as well. We're gonna inhale and reach our right leg all the way up, three-legged dog. And as you exhale, you're gonna take a big sweep forward with that right leg, work towards the lower leg being parallel to the top edge of your mat. So set this up a little bit. You're gonna reach back through that left leg. So really thinking about letting the front of your left hip drop down. This is a good place for a block or even a rolled towel. So if you don't have a block, maybe you have an extra shirt nearby. So if you feel like your pelvis is kind of rolling off to the side, that's where you're gonna find that prop underneath your sit bone. And we're gonna stay for a couple of breaths on with our spine lifted here. So lift the chest, lift your chin up. If you have some good flexibility into your quadriceps and you practice a variation of king pigeon, you might take that left hand, left hand, and reach back for your left foot. So start to bend at the knee a little bit more. That's optional, you don't have to do that. It's gonna open into the left side of the chest a little bit, kind of pulling the heel towards the buttock. If you don't practice that, then your leg's just gonna stay straight. For those of you that grabbed your foot, you can release it. And then if you'd like to come down to your forearms to kind of intensify this a little bit, you can. You can stack your forearms or stack your hands if that works out for you. Just try to let the back of the neck relax here. So just keeping in mind, if you do not like this position, if you have knee or hip issues that don't allow you to come into pigeon, right now you're gonna be on your back in that figure 4 position. So that's our reclining pigeon option. It's perfectly acceptable. You can add some movement or some variety there if that feels good to you. So take a couple of cleansing breaths here. Just really allowing the breath to come to the back, lower part of the rib cage. And as you exhale each time, think about sinking deeper into the pose, even if you don't move at all. Let the tension release from your hips and your face. And when you feel ready, you can start to slowly walk your hands back up. And then we're gonna tuck the back toes under. Take your time, but press back to downward facing dog. And just like we did before, take your feet out a little bit wider and just alternate dropping the knees to the center. So you should feel a little bit different side to side here. And then eventually bringing your feet back in so they're hips distance apart. We'll do the same thing on side 2. So inhale, left leg high. As you exhale, sweep it forward, setting up for pigeon pose, second side. So reach through that right leg and just tenting your fingers, trying to let the right front of your hip open. Prop underneath the left sit bone if that's something that feels good for you, to just kind of keep your pelvis in the center. And just staying for a few breaths. That optional quad stretch, if that works for you. Do your best to keep your knee in line with your hip as you bend that back leg, extending your right arm back. If that's not in your practice, don't worry about it, yogis. Continuing to breathe, lifting your chin. Relaxing your face. Good, if you chose to grab the foot, staying for another breath or two, and then when you're ready, just releasing the foot down, taking your time. If you'd like to make your way into that restorative pigeon, you're gonna walk down to your forearms or whatever works for you. And once again, just taking any micro adjustments that you might be able to do here. So maybe you work towards a little bit more of a parallel lower leg on the left. Maybe you reach through that right foot. And really slow down your breath here. Really think about the breath coming to the areas where you feel restricted around your pelvis. And then when you feel ready this time, if you have a prop underneath that left sit bone, go ahead and just scoot it off to the side. You're gonna shift your weight over to the left and come to sitting. So then you'll just swing your legs around out in front of you. And then maybe just pedal out the knees a little bit here. And then we're gonna place the soles of the feet on the mat. Float your palms up, and then as you exhale, take your time, but let yourself come down to your back. So engaging the belly. Once you're on your back, I want you to extend your legs all the way out. Reach your arms up over your head and take a full body stretch here. And then as you exhale, go ahead and draw the knees into the chest, taking them out a little bit wider towards either shoulder, and just rock gently from side to side. And then happy baby or wide leg straddle might feel good here. So you can reach down for the instep of the feet, or perhaps yogi toe lock the big toes, and just kind of rock gently from side to side, maybe alternate straightening one knee at a time. Just slowing down your breathing here. Reconnecting with that intention that you set for your practice today. And as you exhale, go ahead and pull your knees into your chest. Just rocking from side to side, massaging out the low back. And then taking about the next half a minute or so to explore any other poses that might feel good for you. So if you want to take a reclining spinal twist, or if there's an inversion that you might want to do, you can explore that now before we make our way into our final relaxation. Just continuing to keep the breath flowing. Maybe deepening and slowing down the breath again, just like you did at the beginning of the practice. When you feel ready, one more time, just taking a nice knee hug, pulling the knees in, grasping over your lower legs, drawing your forehead up to your knees, and just giving yourself a nice tight squeeze. And then as you exhale, making your way into your final Shavasana, corpse pose. Walking the shoulder blades underneath you, letting the palms be up to the sky. Take a cleansing breath, inhaling through the nose. Big exhale, open mouth. Scan your body, relaxing the face and jaw. Putting a pause on the mind chatter. Letting go of any last tension that you feel. Let the ground support you here in Shavasana. Let your breath be easy. Let your mind be at peace for a few moments. Take a moment of gratitude for bringing yourself to your mat today. Allowing yourself to be still and at